Do something, man. People are questioning you.
Shut up. Shut up. Okay, yep, do that. Sure, guys. Stupid and dumb. Just an idiot. Get your shit together, son. Fuck it. I loved it. Welcome to the Dub Cast. In today's episode, I will be giving my reaction and review for the movie Dead Poets Society. So with that being said, let's get into Dead Poets Society. So Dead Poets Society was released June 2nd, 1989. The genre of this film is a coming-of-age drama. And runtime, 2 hours, 8 minutes. Not bad. Budget, $16.4 million. The director was Peter Weir, W-E-I-R, I don't know. Starring just Robin Williams on this one. Obviously, if you've seen the movie or know about the movie, there's a lot of kid actors in this movie, so they don't get the star status, but we had Robin Williams here. So, per usual, I'll give my my non-spoiler review, overarching review, and then get into spoilers, and then get into my thoughts and reactions throughout the movie. So, starting it off, we have the brief plot synopsis without spoilers. So, starting it off, we have a young Ethan Hawke as Todd Anderson, and he is the new kid at an all-boys boarding school, this very prestigious boarding school, both academically. I think they're good at like sports and stuff, all that. So it's this very prestigious boarding school in Vermont. So he's roommates with Neil Perry, along with, and who comes with Neil is his friends Knox Overstreet, Richard Cameron, Stephen Meeks, Gerard Pitts, and Charlie Dalton. So they introduce a new professor to teach English, which is Robin Williams. His name in this movie is John Keating. So he kind of has a different style of teaching. He teaches his kids to quote unquote seize the day. Carpe diem is his way of saying that. So other ways he uses this non-traditional way of teaching is he has the students stand on desks. He stands on his own desk. They all stand on his desk. They rip out the intro of their poetry book, which is explain it, like it tries to put poetry's meaning and something else on like a graph. He doesn't like that, so he's like, rip this out and throw it. And then they do like their own style of walking in the in the courtyard. They do their own style of walking. So those are three of the main things he kind of does with the different style of teaching. So the students end up taking an interest in him because he's different, and they sort of appreciate the way he's trying to teach. So they start looking him up in the books, in the yearbooks, because he was an alumni of the school. They figure out he was involved in this quote-unquote society or club called the Dead Poets Society. So they go ahead and restart that club because something had happened where it wasn't going on at the school anymore. And then each of the, I'll say, main three kids have their own kind of storyline. So Knox is chasing after a cheerleader who is dating a football captain at the local high school. Obviously, they are not with girls, so that's an interesting subplot. Neil goes against his father's wishes and takes up acting. So he's kind of has the hard-ass dad who wants him to do all this stuff, but he wants to do acting, and his dad's like, no, you can't do that. You need to be in like the political club. You need to be financier. You need to focus on your academics. You can't do acting. So it's kind of a typical like High School Musical type trope, whatever. So Todd, Ethan Anderson, tries to become unshy and become like out of his shell. He's like this really like meek kid who just is quiet. So that's kind of where I'll leave off for the non-spoiler review. If you're interested in this plot points or want to go see this movie, after that I'll get into my overarching review. So I thought this was quite a good movie. I'm not sure how to score and rank it against other movies, but we'll see in just a second how I ended up doing it. I feel like it was a pretty different movie than what I'm used to seeing personally, just a different style of movie with all the different characters and the subplots and stuff, just the way everything kind of played out and the plot kind of moved along. I thought was different than what I'm used to seeing, not in a good or bad way, just was different. I wanted to give major props to Robin Williams, Ethan Hawke, and Robert Sean Leonard, who plays Neil in this movie. I thought they all did an outstanding job in this movie, especially for the kid actors. Obviously, give them a little more credit for the way they're able to convey their parts in this movie. So I liked how it kind of focused on each of the main kind of boys in their storyline, but it didn't go over the top with any of them, and it didn't leave any of them out. Like, they all end up having their own sort of storyline, so I appreciated that part of it. This didn't feel too long or too short to me. I appreciated the length. I didn't feel like they was missing anything, or they just was too much filler, and I thought it was the perfect amount of time. For me, there was a pretty shocking part of the ending that boosted it a lot for me. I just appreciate shock value in movies, so I liked the way they put in this kind of shocking twist that we'll get to in the spoiler section. I liked their use of music throughout the film. Don't have much to say on that front, just appreciated it when it came up. The only negative thing I'll say is some of it felt a little bit slow, to kind of get moving, and just, again, like non-linear, which I don't always appreciate, but in this movie I was able to accept it and like be able to appreciate it a little bit. So I landed at a 7.9 in this movie. So in terms of the dubcast, this is now takes the number 3 spot, jumps above 28 Days Later, and is right below Last Samurai by 0.1. So we're at 6 movies now in the dubcast review. This is number 3. So with that being said, that'll cap my non-spoiler review of Dead Poet Society. If you want to stick along for spoilers and thoughts and reactions, do so, but now is your time to get off if you don't want to be spoiled. Okay, so jumping into the spoilers, first we'll start with Knox. So he ends up actually getting the girl and courting her, and they become a couple. We'll get into kind of how that happens, but later. Neil ends up staying and acting, even though Keating tells him not to hide it from his dad and just have a conversation with him and get it over with and not try and be all secretive about it. We never really see if he does tell him or not. I'm assuming he doesn't tell him, just if I had to guess. But then, so he's in this huge play. His dad comes and tells him to quit a night before the play, and then he ends up staying in the play, and his dad ends up showing up at the play. And so his dad, it seemed to me like his dad appreciated him in the play and thought he was doing a good job, but right after the play ends, he tries to like hang out with the boys, and his dad's like, nah, you're coming with me. And the boys are all like, oh no, like, what's good? He gets in the car, goes home, and they kind of have a fight where Neil ends up committing suicide at night. This was the shocking part to me. This was crazy. I was literally had my jaw on the floor. I was like that's when a movie makes me do that, I appreciate it. So definitely a shocking scene, and it was super sad to see that happen, but I appreciated the shock value there. So after that, the school launches an investigation into the Dead Poet Society group, and Cameron ends up ratting on them and basically throws all the blame on Mr. Keating, and the kids all basically agree because their names are already on the thing, so they have to either throw it on Mr. Keating or just take responsibility on their own, which they don't want to do. So they end up just blaming Keating, and so this doesn't force, but the headmaster's like, all right, get out of here, get lost, Keating. And so he ends up taking over the English class, and Keating's last kind of act in the school is to go back to his class and get all of his belongings, or some of the belongings he left behind. So right as he's about to leave, we see Todd, in a full circle moment, stand on the desk, and they start yelling at him and the other members of the Dead Poets Society start yelling at the new headmaster, and they're like, what you did was unfair. And Keating smiles and thanks them for the way they were able to stand up to the new headmaster. And yeah, so after that, I'll get into my thoughts and reactions. Okay, so jumping into my thoughts and reactions throughout the movie. First opening scene, we kind of get this scene where they're all coming into the school, and they're in this like auditorium type church type vibe or whatever. My first thing was none of these kids look excited to be there. Like the 10-year-olds, they are not excited at all to be in this school, and doesn't seem like many of the older kids are really. I don't think I saw one of them smile, so I knew right away this was gonna be like a strict school or whatever. Just got that vibe right off. Got to give a shout out to Knox Overstreet. What a name, mad respectable name. We'll get into his nickname a little later on, but just respectable name, maybe like a top 20 movie name of all time. Respect. So yeah, first day of class we have with Mr. Keating. I personally would be very creeped out if a guy was just whispering in my ear, my professor, but don't know about you guys. Maybe you can let me know. I just thought that was creepy. Some of the things in this movie we can see if do they hold the test of time, and some of them just don't. I mean, what teacher's whispering in your ear? I don't know. Weird. So we have Knox's introduction to the girl he's trying to court in this movie, and it's so funny when he knocks on the door. They open the door, or this girl opens the door, and he's like legitimately in like shell shock seeing an attractive girl. Thought that was a funny note. Growing up in a place where there was an all-boys school around that we used to have a nickname for. Won't say the name, but we all know what I'm talking about. I wonder if this is like that. Just literally seeing an attractive girl, you're just in shell shocked. I mean, he was just down bad instantly. At first, I had respect for Cameron for just writing every single thing down that Keating was saying, because I would do the exact same thing. I do that when I started college. I was just writing every single thing down. You gotta just take notes on everything just in case. I respected that. Thought this movie dated itself by using demerits. Just stupid, old time term. So I thought it was an odd scene in the cave. I can't remember if this was like the first or second time they were there, but they were just like chanting when they came out of it. Aren't you trying to like stay secret and keep this like a secret society or whatever? I just was weirded out by that scene. At first I didn't really know what was going on with Ethan Hawke's character. He's just like a side, literally like an NPC in the group. He's just chilling, just doesn't say anything and just doesn't even participate in the thing, but he's just like there. He gets invited to everything. So maybe he's like a really good NPC that people like, so good for him at the beginning. I don't know. Eventually you'll find out, but I don't know. It's like, what's up with this guy? Let's talk about Knox again. A lot of my commentaries on Knox's arc here. I mean, this guy just sneaks out to a pep rally and is just in the parking lot with everyone at a different school, and no one calls him out as just a random guy chilling there. No one even like notices he's there. It's like, this guy doesn't go here. This is like a security threat. I don't like what's going on here. He just shows up and is just allowed to chill, and this isn't even the worst part of it. By the middle of the movie, I was kind of getting annoyed by Neil. I feel like he's like too in your face. Obviously, R.I.P. Respect Neil, but you're being annoying. Knox's nickname, Noxious, another goated nickname. I mean, this guy's got it all with the nickname and the name. Respect. Again, this guy's just down bad at school. He's like, boys, help me out. Need help here. Help. Dude, relax. Take a breather. Also, the girl's dating somebody like, I just, down bad Knox. So, I think it is Charlie that brings these two girls to the cave for the first time, to have in their meeting, not their first meeting, but one of their like meetings, they bring two girls to the cave. And why would these girls want to show up to the cave? I'm sure it's 1990. You're having lit house parties. Why do you want to go to a cave with a bunch of like nerdy guys reading poetry? I don't know. Did they know what they were signing up for? I don't know. And then they're just like drinking booze. I guess maybe that's why you drink booze in a cave. First of all, caves, like, hell no. Caves are scary. I'm not claustrophobic, but I ain't dealing with no cave. I would not want to be a part of this society. But I don't know how he got the girls to show up. Just thought that was weird. Yeah, so then we go to Knox at the party. So basically the girl has an OC. They want to pull up, or he wants to pull up, try and riz her or whatever. This bro just walks in, like doesn't know anybody. She's like, I'm gonna go like upstairs or something. He's just down bad. The scene with him and the two football players was funny, where they're like, oh, your brother's like this guy, and he's like, oh, no, it's not. And they're like, cheers to him, and they just like drink like 5 shots of like tequila or some shit. But he's got nowhere to go in this, like an hour. It's supposedly like an hour or two into the party. I'm assuming he's just sitting down, like everyone around him's just making out, which I don't know if that's a thing that happens, but he's just watching and sitting down, and just sits down randomly and like doesn't even hang out with anybody or anything. He's just like, I'm done, and he just sits like, just go home, bro. But he decides to kiss a sleeping girl, whatever her name is, I forget, sorry, might kill me. But bro, Knox, you're officially canceled, and you would be under arrest if this was 30 years later, bro. I don't know what you were doing here. This is like literally what they show you. And I remember watching a video in physical education or health class that literally this exact same thing happened, and the girl, like, well, obviously it wasn't like this. It wasn't just a kiss, it was more. But bro, Knox, you're canceled. You're under arrest. Have fun being in jail the rest of your life. Like, what the fuck was that? Just straight up canceled. You're done. You're out. Your life's over. But no, it's 1989, so you can just kiss a girl who's sleeping at a party and be fine. Whack. Charlie changing his name to Nuwanda. Okay, congratulations. I don't really know what that was for. Okay, like, fine. We go, I think this is when somebody gets in trouble. Maybe it's Neil or somebody for being the, oh no, it's Charlie. When they find out that he was the one who wrote the article about the Dead Poets Society, he gets the paddle to the ass, which is just funny, and looking back on it, because no one does that anymore. Maybe they do, we just don't see it. But had me laughing a little bit. Paddle to ass, boarding school. Thought that was just something to note. So yeah, we go again. Knox, bro, is just canceled. He's already canceled, and then he like skips school and goes and finds this girl at her school and just walks in, which modern day definitely would not be able to do that. But this guy is borderline stalking, and he should have been removed on site by the school security officer. And the fact that he's even in this school for like 10 minutes, get him out. I don't know how this happened. And so he gives her flowers or whatever. At this point, I was like, she's playing him like a fiddle, dude. Like simp mode activated. Like, this guy's literally like down bad simp, like just in a definition. But I guess she actually ends up liking him, so I'm wrong. But I don't know. What are you doing, bro? Just get over it. Find a new girl. I don't know. See the signs, bro. There's signs out there that you can see if a girl doesn't like you, and I think you got a couple of them. But I guess he ends up winning, so I'm wrong in all this. One of the funny scenes is when they are like, yup, and this is a shout out to Storage Wars. The yup guy in Storage Wars is the GOAT, so shout out to him. Shout out to him for yup. I don't know if maybe he stole this from this movie. Maybe this podcast I can just find people to sue for old movies and creating new things. Like, that they could sue that guy on Storage Wars. Yeah, I thought the dad sucked. Just noted that. Bro, like, you're being too much. You're being too strict. Let your son live his life. If he wants to be an actor, let him be an actor. That's not even like that bad. What you want him to be, like, he can still be a doctor and still be in like a school play, bro. It's possible. Okay, you need to chill out. So at first I thought Neil was doing some like ritualistic shit, because this way they shoot the scene is mad weird. But obviously he ends up killing himself. But I appreciated the good eerie music, because I thought it was like some ritualistic shit that he was doing. But I guess he's killing himself. But that, I mean, yeah, I like the music in that part. And then when he does kill himself, I'm like, bro, like, no way. I was shocked. Again, jaw on the floor. Had nothing to, like, I was like, whoa. Shocking scene right there. I personally thought that Todd and Neil's relationship throughout the movie was a little bit underdeveloped for him to have this kind of huge reaction after it happens, although I understand it when one, like, your friend or your roommate would do something like that. Obviously, you'd be pretty upset and pissed off and also like just shocked. So I understand in that aspect, but I thought they could have done a better job of developing Todd and Neil's relationship. They do have the one thing where they like throw his something off the balcony or whatever. Thought they could have done a little more work there. Yeah, Cameron's a bitch. He's a rat. He rats them all out. Fuck Cameron. I thought at first they were all selling on Keating, which they actually do sell on Keating, but thought that was pretty sad. Just seeing my boy Keating, he was just trying to teach students in a new way. He gets thrown for a loop with all this stuff. His teaching methods were clearly effective. They started to care about their schoolwork and care about the poetry and stuff. So to get a bunch of like 17, whatever, I think they're 17-year-olds to care about poetry, this guy should have been like propped up, but instead he's thrown out and canceled and fired for something he didn't do. But he takes like a champ, and then at the end I had respect for them all standing. Yeah, full circle for Ethan Hawke's character, Todd. So yeah, that's all my thoughts and reactions to Dead Poet Society. Have you guys seen this movie? What do you think? Let me know in the comments. And that's going to be a wrap for Dead Poet Society. So only a couple podcasts left this week before I go on vacation. Gonna try and get Succession out there, first 5 episodes reaction. Also gonna maybe try and do another movie review. We'll see. And we'll see about Survivor 2. So basically all of it's tentative. We'll see what happens. I'm gonna try my best, but I am a working individual, so we'll see how things end up shaking out. Appreciate you guys sticking along for the whole review, and as always, I'll be open to constructive criticism. Where did I go wrong? Some of the stuff was a little fuzzy for me, so I do apologize for that. And yeah, if you liked the video, and if you're on YouTube, leave a like. If you like on Spotify, 5-star ratings, subscribe, like, comment, all the bullshit that YouTubers promote at the end of the video. I'm trying to think of something to leave you with. Carpe diem, guys. Seize the day.